Hey, so this is a little update on my deck fittings. For one thing, I changed the design yet again and put one off centre, slightly off centre at the front, and that way it's off centre for a couple of reasons. We're going to be stowing stuff on the deck. Might be able to fit a mast on that side of it, and we'll just scoot under the line to hold it in place a bit. But if I end up stowing one of my larger bladed paddles blade first up this way, it's got to go quite a long ways up. It won't sit there, so I can't show you the wide shot of it, but it ends up being stowing like that, and yeah, might have to put a different line for it eventually further up, just a tiny one, but I want to keep the lines to a minimum. So I've installed one here. It's just, I used sanded back the surface slightly on the other side of this, and I used a kind of a rubbery glue that's got a bit of move in it, because this has move in it. It's jammed so tight in the hole, the amount of thread there is, that I don't think you're really going to have, being above the waterline, water coming through. Nonetheless, when I laminate the other sheet of ply on this side, like I'm going to once I've prepped all that, done all the hoo-ha. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'll be mixing up some glue when I do that. So at that point, I'm going to glue the slashing, particularly at the holes, but a little bit along the whole line of it, trying not to get any on the teak too much, but I just want to gently soak some glue, some dreaded pocks all the way through that flashing, so much so that it just soaks through these two holes here. So you see what I've done? I've got like 13 passes of double thickness, 13 or 14 passes, I didn't count, it's just as many as go through those holes, double thickness, thickest thread possible that I could obtain, which as you can see is fairly substantial. That's two thicknesses of it. It's a flat weave. So I'm afraid there's a wee bit of stretch in it. Polyester has some stretch. I could have gone to the chandlery and got some very non-stretchy sail thread, but I've gone with this. I think it's adequate to my purposes, and if I subjected this to a drop test or something, or tested it to failure, the whole thing will come out, but so will a bit of the boat, a bit of the deck. So it's gonna rip out a chunk of wood. It wouldn't actually be that hard to do. I mean, it would be hard to do, but you know, I could I've got this big iron lever. If I rigged something up, fixed the boat and put that through and then heaved on the iron lever like that, I could probably make it fail. So I think it's good enough. Even though it's just, oh, it's only sewn on. A lot of the people who sailed their walkers over here across the Pacific, their walkers were tied together with stitching, sewn up with with cord from various fibrous plants, probably from just one fibrous plant actually. Yeah, so that's pretty rad. And the alignment, I was thinking to align it aesthetically. I've aligned it so the string can go through. I was thinking to align it sort of aesthetically with the mouth, as if it's a running backstay or something, which it isn't, because I don't have backstays in this. But I put it here for several reasons. I was going to have a fine little deck line, but I realised this thing here that's already a line on my deck might as well be a deck line. Nothing stopping it being used as a lifeline in emergencies. And what I've got is the potential to put a traveller, once I put the other one in, I've got to laminate this side of the deck first, to put a traveller across there if I want. I don't have to use the full length. I could like tie a knot in the middle of the traveller. If you all know what a traveller is, you know, you got your boom that comes out here, and then you got a sheet that goes down from it to like control how far out the whole thing's swinging. And that sheet, which is a name for a bit of rope that controls the sail specifically, it's called a sheet. It goes down to a block, which is a pulley, on a traveller, which is sometimes brass rod or something, and just it means that the point at which the sail is being pulled from is further across a bit, which it puts more downforce on the boom wherever you put the wherever you put the sail. So it's got relatively equivalent downforce out here as it does here, and once it gets out here it's got less downforce. But that's all good, because if it comes up a bit here and your sail's a bit more billowy when it's out here, that's fine, because you're going downwind in a billowy shape. You know, a rounder shape's going to do you better. And the closer you come up here, the more of a flat shape you want. So exactly how long your traveller is kind of controls that. And yeah, I'm thinking I'll probably want a traveller slightly wider than that. But I've got these fittings, I can put it on that line just by knotting it and putting a wee block on there. So yeah, the other thing of course is if you're getting towed by someone, because this front bit here functions as the towing point. I would have actually liked to put it here, but I'm afraid that it won't tow well, so I'm putting it here, and the line's going to be going through it. And then when I get a tow, if I get a tow, or if I tow the boat behind another boat, for example, and get in their boat, then there'll be a line goes through there, under the lifeline, and tows away in it. And the lifeline of course comes back to here, so I've got control on it. I've got the possibility, depending on how I tie it all up, to let fly one end, haul on the other one, and then whoops-a-daisy, whoever's towing my boat isn't anymore. And I like that possibility, like, because I've been towed once. I was coming down this river La Garonne in France, and I got towed by the bloody fire people, police or whatever, because they were afraid my craft was unfit or just plain ugly. So they decided to give me a stern talking to. So I scarpered. I got about 5 or 6 miles with the tide. These bloody cops started out with cops on rollerblades, if you believe. Funny French people put on them. And then they called the Coast Guard or whatever. Eventually they managed to give me a tow, and they just about sank my bloody boat. It wasn't designed for being towed. the bow wanted to go under and they wanted to pull it against a massive tide. I wasn't having any trouble. I've been living on that river for like 2 or 3 months, never had any trouble on it, until the bloody Coast Guard decided I was a danger to myself. No other, like big ships would come past, you know, those big barges that are transporting the Airbuses, and captain of those ships, they'd always just give me a friendly wave, because I'd be obeying the road rules of the river, well out of their way, looking cheerful, give them a wave. But yeah, they were a bit worried that my craft had not enough propulsion. I didn't have much propulsion at all, but you had to, like, you know, you roll with the tides and you look far ahead, you can predict where you're going to go in a tidal river. Stable craft anyway, it were more so than this in some ways, but this would nonetheless be safer. Yeah, so there you go, there's my little thing. I'll show you the process of rounding off the inside of the thingies. Where's my thing? Oh, here's one. What one's that going to be? Got to use the right one. That one will do fine. So this will be my bow line. So I take a bit of this good old sandpaper, put a bit of a twist on it, put that on there, it's clamped on one side, give it a bit of a clamp on the other side. You just hook the clamp into your breeches like that. You can just lean back on it. You just hold it at a bit of an angle and rub it up and down. Sandpaper is getting a bit too worn. It used to just fit kind of snugly. I might actually get another bit. I'm going to save this bit for when I want to cut something smaller, so I can show you the process of breaking in the sandpaper. It's also how I do these inside bits.